Hello my creative geeks, and welcome back to my channel for another video. Almost knocked over my water. Today we are doing the highly requested office tour as well as some organization tips for you. I did one of these several years ago, back when I was living with my aunt and my office was in my bedroom. So if you'd like to see that one, I'll link that there for you. Since then I moved to a different apartment and I had a office that was one small bedroom. So I call it an office, but it's my creative space where I run my Etsy shop and Patreon and YouTube and do all my finances and my journaling and all those things. So anyway, I had rented an apartment. I had a small bedroom where I did the whole thing, and then I moved into where I live now. I've been living here for over a year, and my office is in the laundry room. That's what you're seeing now. So I'm going to flip the camera around. I'm going to give you a little tour. We're going to talk organization and how I function in my space along the way. If you have any questions after this video, go ahead and pop them in the comments below, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this, because it helps tell YouTube that you want to see more of my videos. And yeah, with all that being said, I'm going to flip you around and we'll get into it. Okay, so here we are. We're in my bathroom and I just want to show you where my office is. So come in the bathroom. There's a laundry room here, so you go through the laundry room, and then the washer and dryer, and then there's this little dividing wall. I put this perforated privacy screen thing up. It's made of canvas, so I put that there, and that space behind there is my office. So I have a little fan because it's warm outside right now. My kid and Selfie lives there currently because there's not a better place for it. That this is my desk, and it's a 6-foot desk. It pretty much goes from the wall all the way to the closet. And then here's kind of what the floor looks like. So as you can see, I really try to utilize every inch of space in this area, just because this is where I work and I spend a lot of time in here, and I really like to keep everything organized and easy to find. I'm gonna give you a little disclaimer. I do have extra Etsy like stock and shipping supplies and extra journaling making supplies in the basement in storage, because otherwise this space would be unworkable. So I'm just going to give you a little tour. We're going to kind of go over things here. I apologize if it's shaky at all, but you know, that's life. So this is the top of my desk. This is a desk from IKEA. It comes with this side drawer, and those set of drawers is from Michaels. My planner lives on my desk all the time. Here I have a little diffuser with some oils. I have a studio light here, which I'll bring in front of my desk if I need the extra light. That's some Happy Mail I got yesterday, so that's there. This end of my desk, I would love for it to be a workable space, but it always gets cluttered. Like that, it's pretty much unusable. Even though I have a big desk, I only work in like this little space here because, again, it gets cluttered really fast. So this is my tea. Really don't need to know that. I have my filming set up here. So this is a ring light, which I got recently, and there's just this little extending arm thing for the overhead shots. I got that on Amazon. Everything that I can find that I talk about, especially these two things, I can tell you those will be linked in my Amazon favorites, so you can go check that out there. I have some things on my wall for inspiration. I have this canvas that I made that needs to be recolored, but I use that as the backdrop for some of my Etsy photos. I have a mixed media piece that I made. These two are from Courtney Diaz, and that is from By Bun. And then down here, while I'm sitting at my desk, I have my monthly calendar here. This is the calendar that I make every month over on my Patreon. So I just keep things there, like my work schedule, personal type events, and then my filming and video schedule for like Patreon and YouTube and stuff. And then here we have my desk. So let me move back. Hold on. Okay. We have my monitor here. I just have this crystal bowl here filled with a bunch of crystals. My Apple Pencil lives here, so I always know where it is. This is my speaker volume thing. I have this riser desk organizer, so I just keep my keyboard under there and paper to jot notes down on. I have this little tray here that my sister got me with some miscellaneous knickknacks in it. My mouse with my mouse pad. And this is my scissor cup. I have this cute decorative pen that I got from a Creative Peep. This little, it's like a squishy avocado. My ruler and a couple different pairs of scissors. So that's pretty much my like general workspace. Like I said, this end gets cluttered a lot, but I try to clean my desk like 3 times a day, and it's never under control. But there's that. And then I had to move the trash because nobody wants to look at that. But I have this unit here. This is from Target, these like cube things. I put that in the closet. I have my filing cabinet like kitty cornered here. So that door obviously doesn't close, but I don't really need to close it. I have organizers up here on the top. In the corner here, I have some bags hanging with various stuff in it. And then a little organized clutter corner down there. So we'll go through all of that in a second. Over here, so my desk, and then I have this little black cart. This has all of my pens and pencils and things in it, paintbrush, my paper cutter. I have my shipping scale for Etsy. I did not dust. Don't judge me. I have my sticky note cube there. My washi tape organizers. I have the Real Brush pens by Arteza, this case over here. A couple different organizers down here. I have magazine cutouts, my numbers and weekday things that I get from Collage Sheets, and a couple other things. I have this pencil case down here that houses all of my like huge rolls of washi tape. Helps if I'm like showing you what's in there, right? I have like huge rolls of washi tape, and then any like samples that I get sent get put in there. This is one of my tips, is to store stuff under things if you can, but make sure that you can easily pull it out and access it. So I used to have like a little box. I had an Amazon box that I cut the flaps off of, and that would slide in there, kind of like a makeshift drawer. It sounds like there's something behind there. Oh, like this. Good job. So apparently this is here. So you just have like, it acts like a little drawer, if that makes any sense. So that's one of my tips for small spaces. Next, over here on the floor, this is where my Cricut lives. I put it in the closet to like use it on the floor when I cut stickers, because it likes to be in the dark. I used to put it on my desk, but the light screws with the way it cuts. So I do that when I'm using it. When I'm not using it, it lives there. And then here I just have some organizers. These used to be on my desk, but they just take up too much room. So this box back here contains all of my current journals I'm working in. I've tried housing these in several different spots, and I still haven't found the right one, but For now, that one's working. And then this is a little like organizer that I got from Michael's. I'm so sorry about the shaking, you guys. Hopefully that you can still watch this without getting sick. This is a little organizer from Michael's. It's just basically a catch-all. I have my binder that I keep collage sheets in, projects that I'm currently working on, miscellaneous things I don't know what to do with, but I want to put in my journal, various tools, Happy Meal that I'm working with. This is my pouch of like my journaling essentials that I always use, which I go over in my Patreon journal updates videos over there. This is a little organizer of stickers that's not really working. But yeah, so utilize floor space if you can, but definitely I have this little like runway. I have to push my chair in to get past to like get things over there. I try to keep it clear, but because of where my space is, that's just the reality of it. And I feel like many of you may be in the same boat since you were asking me to make this video. So hopefully this is going to be helpful for you guys. I know that to some people my space may be huge, and to other people it may be super small. So just keep a healthy perspective. So let's go over the things in the closet real quick. So up here I have this is a file organizer. It houses all my pen pal stuff. Up here, I have all of my Etsy shipping stuff. Up there are my stamps because I almost never use them. I have various adhesives and different things in here. This is extra storage, again, things I don't usually access, but as you can see, I gain a lot of space by utilizing vertical space. So I could just put these bins all the way across, but I wouldn't be able to store half the things that are in here if I did that, because it just wouldn't be the same amount of space. So having organizers that you can either stack and still easily get to, or these like drawer things, those are really helpful. I have no idea where these are, but you can find plastic versions of the same things in most stores like Target and things. So that's another tip for you. Here, these are my binders. I keep my Etsy stock and things in here. This is my recipe binder. It just lives in here because we're renting and I like to know where my things are. So that's where that lives. And then this is a bucket of paper. Again, I'm utilizing the space best by, it's a basket, which I can put all of those notepads and stuff in that get stored this way because there's more space because the shelf is deeper than the space is wider. If I organized them like this, I wouldn't be able to fit as many in there. I hope that makes sense. Another thing I utilize is the space right here. So again, using that vertical space like this is just empty, non-storage space, unless you can utilize things like this. Obviously, not everybody's going to have a closet, so this doesn't directly apply to you, but you can find ways to do this just by your desk. If you watch my original video, you'll see how I stacked things on my desk to make that vertical space useful. But anyway, I have these bags here, which this bag back here houses a bunch of extra organizers and pencil cases. These are extra paper bags that I like to reuse as my recycling bins. And then I have reusable bags in this one. This is a bag by James Luke Burke. And these prints on the wall here, these two are by Fran Nerd, and that is a Charity Grace photo that I printed off of Instagram because I love it and she's awesome. Then here I have all of my Emerald Winterwood essential oil rollers. If you missed this collab, I will link it above for you, and I also have a discount code for shop, which you can find below. I have this pouch here that houses a set of my tarot cards that goes with this tarot handbook and a candle. These are organizers I used to have on my desk, but now they live on this bookcase thing here, again using the vertical space. I'm not going to go through all the drawers. but I just try to keep things together. One thing that's really useful about drawers, I like buying drawers that you can take out. So if I need twine or brads, which is what is in this drawer, I can stand up from my desk, take this over here, set it down on my desk, work with it, and then I'll have like a billion of them stacked up on my desk. And once my journaling session or project is over, I can bring it back over and put it back there. So that's kind of how I use those. This is all vinyl sticker inventory for my shop. It's just the best way I've found to organize it. These clear organizers are from the Dollar Tree. I originally bought them to use like this, but I'm going to tell you something about these. This organizer, I don't know if you can see it. Hopefully you can. This is wider in the front and it gets narrow in the back. So the space inside is like a weird smushed rectangle. Like, it's bigger than a square, it's a rectangle, but the space in the back is like significantly smaller than the space in the front, so it works for virtually storing almost nothing, except for vinyl stickers. These I got from Amazon. Again, I'll try to leave them linked in my favorites. Down here, one thing, again, using your space wisely. It's helpful to store things behind other things, but it's only helpful if the things you're putting in the back you don't access very often, and when you do need to access them, you can see them and get to them without deconstructing the whole thing. Sometimes that's difficult, but that's kind of the rule of thumb that I try to follow. So in the front here, it needs to be a little organized better, but I have all of my empty TN and like journal covers. And then in the back here, I have some of my favorite journals that I've already completed. So these are ones that I like to go back to from time to time and look at. So I keep those back there because I don't really need to see them all the time. But if I do need to get to them, all I have to do is pull out like 4 of these in whichever, you know, spot that I need to access that, and they come out. We're going to do this last because it's a dirty secret. Very relatable for some, I'm sure, when we get there. This here is my sticker book shelf. These I got on Amazon. They're A5 presentation folders. I can only find these from overseas. Like, America doesn't do A5, which is super annoying. But I got these for like $5, and they came from Europe. So I will leave those linked below. But basically, it's the same idea as a photo album, but they're A5 size. So I just have stickers in there. They're categorized in the way that I use them. I have a ton of stickers. It happens to be like my material of choice, I guess you could say. Some people have a huge cover collection, which I do have quite a few, but some people have a huge cover collection. Some people really love stamps. I'm a sticker person. So planner stickers. These organizers are from Michaels. They're like smaller pockets. So there's like a pocket here, and yeah, you flip through it like an album, but they're too narrow and short for a lot of my stickers. So that's why I have these. Again, they don't all sit perfectly level with each other because I have too much stuff in the cube, but that's just how things are right now. Extra loose stickers like giant alpha sheets and stuff that don't have a home. In here, I just have this little plastic zip organizer, and it just helps me keep all of my Word sticker albums together. So I really like things like this. These are actually made for like to put in a binder. I don't know what brand they were. I've had them for forever, but I just use that like that. Down here, I have more stickers. These are all like my Mambi sticker books, and I have planner dedicated stickers back there. Again, stickers are my jam. Here, I have this stuck here. This is some Happy Mail that I'm working with and need to answer and get through. And then in the back there, I have the same thing as on the top. It's more used journals and things that I don't access very often, but I do still want to be able to get to. I have my flow books by Tammy bracket back there, an old bullet journal, and just things like that. This is an empty journal, and then these are bullet journals and planners from this year that I have abandoned but still may need to reference. So those kind of live there. I'm trying to keep the address on this hidden, so we'll just slide that back in there for now. Then moving down, the last cube on this shelf, I have this pull-out wooden crate thing. This is meant to store like an old school wine bottle, I believe, but I use it for my inserts. So all of my like smaller field notes and pocket journal things are here. I also keep the TNs for them here. These are just like little, you know, clearance ones. And then I have all my standard sized inserts here. There are a couple wide, there's a couple B6. So these are all my blank inserts, and then in the back are all like the folders and clear pockets and stuff. And again, I'm using that kind of back there space, so it just slides back there, and it does stick out, but it doesn't really hinder anything. Over here I have a canvas that I just put on my desk if I'm gonna spray or like do anything messy. It's just a huge cheapy white canvas from Michaels, so that works well for me. These are all empty journals that I have yet to use, and I think there's more in the back. Yep. So that's where I keep those. Over here, because I work in my office pretty much all day, and it is upstairs, when I'm in the zone, I don't want to leave to get a snack, so I just keep various snacks in here. I have some napkins, some snack bars, crackers, dried mangoes, chocolate, of course, and things like that. So they're just kind of in there. Right now I have it in a priority mailbox because I just don't have an organizer to put there. So use what you have. It doesn't have to be fancy, it just has to fit. So fit and function. I just have a couple things tucked back here. I have a hole punch and a set of permanent markers. This is my little dirty little secret closet thing over here. So in this I have extra electronic things. This container, you'll see what used to be in it in my desk, but this just holds, again, a bunch more used journals that I like to reference sometimes, or that I may need to reference. This is a clutter bag of things that I don't know what to do with yet, and then way back in the corner is more filming supplies. So here, this is my magazine cube. So I keep all of my magazines here. I love these plastic wallets. I use these to organize a billion different things. I have a ton of them downstairs in my journal making closet. These are plastic wallets from the Dollar Tree, but you can order them in big sets online. So it's not 12 by 12. It's a little longer than 11, and it's probably like 12 by 9 maybe. I don't know the exact measurement of them, but anyway, I put little labels on the top here. This is a collection of summer ephemera. I use them to organize ephemera. I have one that's full of tissue paper. I have this, like, you can find them other places. My aunt got me this mermaid one. This is holding all of my pen pal stuff I need to journal with. The clear ones are my favorite though, because I can label it and then I can see everything in it, and they just they store really nicely, and you can set them all up like a file system. So that's another tip, is definitely, as you can see, I organize things like a file system. So it's just like everything looks like a book on a bookshelf, or it's like in the basket type where it stacks this way. So definitely utilize space like that. Another tip that I have for you, which I utilize in this space right here, is to cap your collection. So what I mean by that is, some things, obviously, I prioritize sticker storage, space for stickers, because they're my favorite. Whereas magazines, I only give magazines half a shelf. So if my magazines, which right now they're kind of going towards their maximum limit here, but if my magazines fill up a whole half a cube, I either can't get any more, or I need to go through my magazines and rip out the images that I still want to use and consolidate them. So I capped my collection by giving it a designated space. So if there's more, if I have more than can fit in that space, I either need to downsize another collection to make room for it, or I need to prune down that collection and just keep my favorites. Hopefully that makes sense. This is how I store all my stencils. I have a file folder, and I put all of my stencils in the file folder. So I can pull this out, put it on my desk, go through all of them, put it back. If you're one of those people who stores things in their original packaging, storage can be a little more challenging because usually the original packaging takes up extra space. I, for the most part, don't keep anything in its original packaging. I used to. It was like an OCD thing. And I really had to break myself of that because, to me, when I kept it in the original packaging, it was too new. Like, I couldn't bring myself to use it because it felt too pristine and like it needed to stay in that condition. So not only did it hinder my storage abilities, it actually hindered my creativity a little bit. So if you're struggling with hoarding your supplies, try organizing them out of their original packaging, and that may help you. Up here, I have, this is like a working journals shelf slash books shelf. So I have a bunch of books for inspiration. I love abandoned places, so I have 2 books on abandoned places here. I have file folders for classes that I'm either taking or have taken. Of course, that one's not labeled. I just took the Lyrical Art Journal class by Bun, so I printed out the PDF for it. It lives in this file folder, and those are like my classes. I have zines from other creators. I have some Fran Nerd and By Bun and Minnie Smalls, James Luke Burke. So those all stay there. This is my next bullet journal. So that's kind of chilling out there. I have my Patreon zine. Me and my peeps put together a zine collaboration. This is volume 1 and we just finished volume 2. So that was fun. Here, this is a journaling book, obviously, Bullet Journal Method by Ryder Carroll. Highly recommend. These 2 books are great. And then I have some journals that I don't use very often, but when I do like to use them, they're here. It's my reading journal and a High Vibe Bible by Alexis. I'm not even going to pronounce it. Miss Trenchcoat. I have a Farmer's Almanac, and then this is my pen pal journal. And then up there, we have the Dirty Little Secret. So here, one of the things I struggle to organize is extra ephemera. You're going to see how I store the ephemera that I use on a regular basis in a second, but this is kind of I don't really know what to do with it yet, and it's cluttering up my space. This used to be a lot less full, so I didn't have to do much about it, but I'm going to have to do something about it soon because it's chock full. So this is real life, you guys. I keep my tab edge in here because it doesn't have any other place to live, and I use it pretty regularly. And then this, as you can see, kind of has the remnants of what used to be an organized system. So some of the stuff is still in these plastic containers that I love to organize things in. Some of it's in baggies, but really it's just extra ephemera that doesn't have a home right now, and I don't know what to do with it, but I don't want to get rid of it. So it lives in here. I don't have a better solution yet, but that's my like dirty little secret box. So even though I'm wicked organized, I hope you know it happens to me too. So there's that. One thing I did want to show you is my pen pal organizer. So this is like a file hanging box from the store that I repurposed. So what I do is I have these big gallon size baggies. I have a regular piece of printer paper with my pen pal's name on the top. And then each time I find something that I think they would like, I put it in here. They're waiting for me to reply to something, their package goes here on the other side of the piece of paper. And then when I'm ready to reply, I take it out, I write my letter, I pick things that I had saved for them, and I mail it. And then their envelope gets moved to the back so that I know who I need to reply to next. And then in the back here, I have some mailers that I want to reuse for packaging, but then I have this big like file, again, clear plastic wallet thing, and it just has a bunch of pen pal stuff in it, things to write letters, envelopes, yada yada. So that is how I store like my pen pal stuff. Moving over to the desk drawers, I'm sitting in my office chair right now. I pull out the top drawer. I have all of these pen organizers. These are from the Dollar Tree. Now, the way that I always tell people they should organize their supplies is you should organize your supplies in the way that you use them. And sometimes this can change, right? Like sometimes we like different supplies and our styles change and everybody's brain works different. So what works for me may not work for you, and that's okay. You just gotta find what works for you. So how my brain works is, these are all black pens, okay? Except for the multi-pens, those go in here as well. Anything, doesn't matter if it's gel or ballpoint, if it's a black pen, it goes in here. Again, this is my cap. Refills, I do keep in a separate spot, but as far as like actual like pens go, this is the drawer they can go in. If they don't fit in here, then I can't have them. These are fine liners, any color, I mean, not any color. These are fine liners. They pretty much are all black. There's some grays in here. They're blues, but they're just neutral fine liners. A Food Nasuki brush pen. Anything like felt tip that's a neutral color goes in here. These are all pencils and click erasers. These are like pencils you would sketch with, not colored pencils. Some of them are like the Sketch and Wash pencils. I do have a chalk marker in here, but yeah, just pencils. These are all blue and green markers, gel pens, Papermate flares. Anything that I would use in a regular notebook that's blue or in the cool toned family, blue, green, etc. goes in here. This is my warm tones, anything Papermate flare, marker, Papermate joys, gel pens, ballpoint pens, whatever it is. If it's in the warm color family, it goes in here. This is my highlighter bucket. It has all kinds of highlighters. My mild liners live in here. I have regular highlighters, zebra highlighters, all of it goes in there. So this is kind of like your general office, non-arty stationery lover drawer. This is a drawer that I recently reorganized. I didn't have these things in here. I had other stuff in here, but I found that while I was sitting at my desk, these were things that I needed on a regular basis, and chasing them all over the office was not working for me. Organizing is about creating systems that you can maintain. So it would be like saying, okay, I put oil in my car once and I'm never going to change it. I'm never going to change out the oil filter. You know, I'm never going to clean it, nothing like that. Systems require maintenance. They require revisiting and rethinking and reworking and refining. So organization is not a one-stop shop. I do it and then it's done forever. You have to put things back where they go. When you get new things, you have to find what place that they go in. Because if you don't, then you just end up with a pile of stuff that doesn't have a home and you think you're not organized. It takes work, but it does make your life a lot easier when you put the work in up front. So, in this drawer, this used to hold sticky notes and my password notebook and Sharpies, and that was it. Now it is kind of my tools / shipping station. So these are my Crayola super tips. I mostly use them for writing thank you notes on my Etsy orders. That's why they're in this drawer. I can use them for other things, of course, but that is kind of what I find I use them the most for. So they're in here. I have this here. This is a washi tape organizer printable from the Coffee Monster Co. It was free on her Facebook group. I keep all of my Sharpies in here because I use those to address envelopes. So those are in there. These are all my tabs because this was just the best place that I fit. And I find that, like, because this is a tool drawer, that's a good place for them. Paper clips, a tape measure. These are all of the washi tapes that I use when I'm packing orders. So sealing envelopes and things like that, those are there. This is my utility drawer. Looks like a hot mess, but I use things in here all the time. I have an X-Acto knife, I have a sharpener / eraser, staple remover, hole punch, bone folder, plain old masking tape, whiteout, knife to open things at my desk, eraser, pencil sharpener, washi tape samples, another pencil sharpener, binder clips for when I'm binding things, a stick for rub-ons. That all lives there. This is some more of that masking tape that just didn't, the best home was, you know, there for it. Oh, I have some tweezers in here too. Oh look, paperclip ended up in there. See, constantly maintaining. I have some binding twine and then my little cheat template for binding journals. So that's what's in there. In here, I have my glasses case, some miscellaneous scrap paper, extra notepads and sticky notes. In here, I have my password keeper, and then I have all of my watercolor pens. So again, I keep them in little bins. If I want to use them, I can easily shove this over here, pull this out, use it, put it back, and then put the things back. Don't put too many things on top of each other because if you can't get something easily out and back in, you're not going to put it back. Or at least I wouldn't. Next, I have this bucket. This is the one I was talking about that used to be under my rolling cart, and now it's just in here. In here, I have my paint pens, again, so that I can pull this out, bring it up on my desk, and use it. This one houses all of my large paint pens and chalk markers. So my large tip Poscas and my Crayola markers and random markers that I got from other places. Not a fan of this one, but I want to use it till it's gone. These are all more paint markers. These are kind of medium-sized tips, and these are extra fine tips. So those live in there. In here, I have my ephemera organizer. These wallets are my absolute hands down favorite way to store ephemera. These are photo keepers. I get mine from Michael's, but you can find them other places. They're by Iris, is the brand. Other places make them now. I label them on here. This is the 4x6 size. These are all like die cuts. Those are in there. All of my words that I cut out for magazines are in here. Eyeballs, vinyl stickers, tags, ephemera. Obviously, you saw my dirty secret. Tim Holtz ephemera. These are bigger ones, but they don't sit in the drawer like this and close it, so they're kind of stacked there. Isn't as useful use of space, but that's just how it has to be. Sticker flakes. Things with nature bits, labels. You can do anything with these. These are meant to keep in that plastic thing there, but I like them in my drawer. Now, if you had a small space, this would be fantastic. You could stick all of these in that organizer. Again, I got that at Michael's on sale. It was on sale for 15 bucks. You could slide that under your bed and pull this out when you need to journal, but you would have to use that if my collection grows more than I have to get rid of, kind of rule for yourself. because that could get out of hand really quick. But that's a little tip there for that. And then in here, I'm trying out a new organization system with my paint. Again, storing things in different color families. I have all my cool paints, my cool toned paints. I'm in the process of like adding little color dots to the top so I can see them. Those are all paint tools. That's kind of like the tubes that don't fit in here. Again, Dilutions paint that doesn't fit in there. These are all metallics, so that's in there, and I have the warm tones on the other side. Moving over here, in this top drawer, I have my paint palettes, my old tank tops that I use as rags. This is how I keep all of my artistic gouache, again, well, and other gouache, apparently. This is acrylic gouache, which I really like. Again, it's stored in warms and cools. So those are the warms, all the cools are back there. Again, if I need to get it out, they're easy. I can pull this out, pull this one forward, pull that out without too many steps. So I'm utilizing the space, but not hindering the functionality of it. In here, I have one of those buckets. These are all of my colored fine liners. I don't use these as often. So they're in here. These are all Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pens, basically. So there are a couple other brands mixed in, but those live there. So that's that drawer. This drawer is a bit of a mess, but it houses all of my ink and watercolor type things. So I have, these are my Dana Wakley Media Scribble Sticks. Now, these come with a plastic insert inside, which only allows you to store, obviously, the colors that come in here. Again, these are all my warms. I took out the plastic insert. I have all my Neo Color 2s in here with it. So if I need some type of water-soluble crayon type thing, they're in here. So these are my warms. These are my cools. And I keep a little plastic thing there so that I can scribble the stick on there and then use water to use it like watercolor if I want. So those are in there. I'm working on a new palette configuration, so that's why that's there. Watercolor palette. These are also watercolor palettes. There's the insert for it. Back here, I have a basket. Again, I can take it out, but it's stored back there because I don't use it as often. I have extra watercolor pans, the tubes of watercolor that I have, and some brush cleaner. This is my travel Cotman, Winsor & Ink Cotman set, which I love. Samples, ink pads that are meant to be used like with water, so water reactive dyes. I got those in a art box. My inks, so some of them are acrylic and some of them are watercolor, but all of my liquid inks live right there. I have to lay some of them down because they don't kind of go under there very well. And then these are my distress crayons. Those I do keep in the original packaging, but those are there. That's like my watercolor drawer. So I'll put the things I'm not using right now in the back. And then let's go back in the front. This is the other paint drawer. These are all the warm colors. I have more of like the tubes and stuff shoved in here because I have less warm colors than cools. These are my neutrals. Skin tones, grays, black, tans, all that kind of good stuff, white. Then back here, I have a backup of my favorite black paint ever. This is the Dilutions Black Marble paint. So this one's almost empty, so I have a backup back here. Back here, I have gesso, and then if you look in the very back, I have gel medium, matte medium, and a couple more of the Dilutions paint things. So again, the buckets in the drawer makes it easy to take these out and work with them and also access the things in the back. In here, I almost never use this drawer, but it is here if I need it. This is all my like jewelry and charm making stuff. So I have little organizers stacked in here with charms and beads and links and chains. These are all my like plier things. These are miscellaneous things that, like I have these bracelets that I want to take apart and use these like real crystal beads in another project. I have this necklace that I want to turn into a charm. I have a bunch of these star buttons that a Creative Peep sent me that I love. Back here I have TN cording, other various beads and glitters and things. And then in this very bottom drawer, I have all my sprays. So these are the sprays that have to be stored in like a level manner because they have mica or glitter in them. They're distress oxides, there's a gloss, there's the shimmer sprays by Dilutions. So those all have to be stored this way. So that's why they're in there. And I have these buckets. These are from the Dollar Tree. That one's overflowing a little bit, but all of my Dilutions ink sprays are in here, and then every other ink spray that I have goes in here. So these are like the Distress ink sprays. I have a bunch of the Lindy's Stamp Gang Starburst sprays. So all of my ink sprays live in there, and then this is my very well-loved Ranger Craft mat. So those are in there, and these just keep them from like falling over when I open and close the door, basically. And then last but not least, I'm going to show you this. This is like an addition I shoved under here. I had this for a while before I got the desk. These are from Michael's. I believe Target might sell something like this too, and of course IKEA. I don't have an IKEA near me. I bought a bunch of IKEA furniture and got it shipped to me. The closest one is 6 hours away. And shipping was not cheap. So I don't recommend going that route unless you can like get to an IKEA, but you know. So anyway, the thing about the Michaels one is, one, they're grossly overpriced, so definitely use a coupon if you can or hit a sale. But these aren't locked in, which can either be beneficial or not. So I can actually pull this drawer out and set it on top of my desk. Whereas these ones, that once you hit like the back, that's it. You can't pull it out anymore. In here, this is all paper and things of my design. So it doesn't have any paper or anything designed by anybody else in it. This is so that if I want to make something that I want to be able to share with you guys after, I can do that without worrying about like copyright. So test prints go in here. Extra die cut stickers go in here, little scraps. This scrap bin is things from other people, but this part is just me. And then this is a sticker album of all my stickers from my shop, so I know where those are when I want to use them. This drawer in here is another like utility journaling drawer. So same as kind of my office utility one that we saw on the other side. This is like my journaling utility one. This basket's a little out of control right now, but this is my adhesive bucket. So we have tape, my tiny attacher, every possible thing of glue stick you could possibly imagine is in there. I have some plastic things to do the watercolor smushing technique that I love on. In here I have white pens, glitter pens, Stabilo all pencils, just kind of like basics. These are all my water brushes or travel brushes. This is my clear tip-in tape that I love using. Recent find, best thing ever. Painter's tape, acrylic block for stamping. Back here I have more double-sided tape and then little glue bottles. So I have some Fabri-Tac and some Aleene's Tacky Glue in there. So that's like, I open that drawer literally every day a million times. This is all my scrap paper by other people, projects I've started and things. So again, something I use all the time. This drawer houses mediums that I don't use as often, but I still want to keep. And apparently there's something stopping this drawer from coming out. So in here I have all of my Tim Holtz ink sponges. These are like the antique type ink pads. I have some antiquing wax here that's in there. In the back here I have all my alcohol inks. I'm not going to pull it out, but those are in there. These are all my Distress Oxide ink pads. I just stack them up. My tray of alcohol markers in all kinds of brands and sizes. And then in the way back there, there's some glitter products. And then in this drawer here, I have all of my fountain pen stuff. So I have ink samples in here, a dropper, syringe. Oh, apparently there's extra paint markers in there. I have all of my boxes from my TWSBI pens. I keep these just in case at any point I would like to resell them. I like to be able to give the actual packaging, and it comes with like maintenance tools in there. So I keep those. I have my bottled ink over here. Again, some of them lay down because they're too tall. I have my Goulet pen flush. I have fountain pens that I'm not currently using. And then in here is just more ink samples. So it's kind of a stuffed drawer. Usually as well, my Cricut mat just kind of sits on top of these and like shuts in there so that it doesn't get all dusty, because I don't use that drawer very often. Not entirely sure where it is right now, but which I'm kind of concerned about, but we'll find it. And then on top of here, I have some of those wallets that I was talking about. So in here, I have, again, more scrap paper, but it's organized by type. So scrap vellum and things are in this pink one. This one here has all kinds of scrap white paper. So scrap sticker paper, scrap printer paper, scrap notebook paper, all the things that would be like, I want a white piece of paper to, you know, do something on, or need to put it between like a piece of I need to put it between pages I'm working on or something. That's there. And then this is all like the black and tan and stuff in there. Apparently there's some white in there as well, but breaking my own organization system. All right, guys, that is my entire office tour. You know, it was really long. Leave me an emoji if you made it to the end. Thank you for being here. I hope you found this helpful. I know I didn't give a lot of tips explicitly, but hopefully you can find some little nugget of inspiration of something that I use to implement into your own space to make it work. You don't have to be as organized as I am. You just have to find something that works for you. If you don't have to separate your paper by any means. You just want to put all your paper in a box, you can totally do that. And if it works for you, that's all that matters. So again, I hope you found this helpful. Please give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. If you have any questions or wanted a link to something that you saw, let me know in the description box below and I'll do my best to find it for you. Check out my Amazon storefront. It's just my favorites and stuff that's always linked in the description box for you. A lot of stuff is linked there, and you can at least, even if you don't buy it on Amazon, you can find the wording to search for it other places. So with all that being said, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you to my patrons for sponsoring today's video. They help me continue to create content for free here on YouTube and share things with you while also paying my bills and feeding my turtles. So they're awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you for being here and watching. Your support means the world to me. And I'll catch you guys in my next one. Take care, guys. Bye.